us in the second half of the day for this really interesting industry academia partnership session that we are running. Thanks to our partners, ZB Academic Alliance, for helping us to put this entire thing together. We've had some really interesting sessions till now by Mr. Anand Sahai, CEO of ZB Global, the Chief Digital Officer, Professor Dr. Sandeep Sancheti, Dr. Anil Sahasrabudhe, Chairman AICTE, who has been our chief guest as well for the day, Dr. Rupa Manjari Ghosh from Shiv Nadar University. Now, in our next session, in the first one post lunch, we have a very interesting panelist who's joining us. Please allow me to welcome Dr. Sandhya Chintala, Executive Director, IT, ITES, Skills Council, and VP at NASSCOM. So, ma'am's going to be talking about industry academic partnership, dreams versus reality, in literal sense, what's possible. For all of us who are joining us on Hubilo, there is another parallel session going on at the same time where Dr. T. Sasi Prabha, Vice Chancellor of Satyabhama Institute of Science and Technology, is running live on track 2, where she'll be talking about the future of education anytime, anywhere campuses. For now, people who are live on track 1, please allow me to welcome Dr. Sandhya Chintala. Ma'am, the stage is all yours. We're really excited to hear what your thoughts are on building this perfect industry academia relationship for us to move towards the next big paradigm shift in the Indian education.
Thank you, Tanya. Let me just share my screen. Ladies and gentlemen, it's interesting and exciting to be here with you today because there are problems galore, but there are solutions which I would like to actually extrapolate with you. And hopefully at some time in the near future, it will actually happen. So it's rather just not going to be a dream, but a reality to come. As you all know, that the present situation that we are in has pressed the fast forward button for India. And we are well into building digital India to become the talent hub for the world. What the COVID has done for us is drastically brought into a reality scenario the way we live, learn, and work, right? So it has brought forth a new normal, and India is transforming very quickly into this to become the haven for the globe with respect to talent, having the largest Indian young population, but equally erudite. But if they can upskill and upgrade themselves to be relevant to the future of work, obviously that's going to be a different requirement. But the academic situation that we have and the aspiration of the industry, which is dynamically changing, there is a huge gap. And let me see what we can solution today. And we've already attempted some. And that's the sort of a scenario that I'd like to brainstorm with you today. Having said this, I would just like to look at a brief picture of what the population, 7 billion people in the world do. About 400 million people are entrepreneurial, about 1.7 billion work in services, 800 million work in industrial jobs. And if you look at the other point, about 1.4 billion work in agriculture, 1.9 billion are too young to work, 430 million are unemployed, and 577 million are more than 64 and sometimes a bit too old sometimes for them to get regular work. But having all of this, which is basically the world of work, the academic scenario that really funnels and fuels this whole requirement seems to be lagging. And the lag is because you see there is a clear unemployment rate saying that there is a clear demarcation between a graduate who has got himself a degree or some sort of an educational portfolio of achievement seems to have no correlation to the world of work. And it's the higher you get educated, you can see very clearly the drop in actually the employment rates, which means unemployment is rising. So obviously the demand side and the supply side are not actually talking to each other and no longer the same side of the coin. So this is a problem statement that we have. In this whole situation, we have what it is another, there are major forces like emerging markets, the population of the globe that is aging, disruptive technologies, integrating world, return of geopolitics, slowly, basically now with Biden back on the helm, hopefully it is actually going to reduce. But what has happened is the COVID has brought forth the power of disruptive technologies as an anticlimax, really. What it has told us is that we need to reimagine business very quickly. We have understood very, very clearly that almost 9% of the workforce will be in areas that we have never imagined. But in India, the workforce is somewhere around about 600 million. That's 54 million jobs with new emerging technologies. 37% will be in areas which will be deployed, which have changes radically with an integration of the existing technology that we have. 54% will have minor changes. This specifically is for the IT industry. But at least 40% of all businesses across all industry sectors in the next 10 years will just disappear, change totally. So, how is the educational program and the academic community actually taking a change of course and different methods on how they will partner with industry to actually create technology and innovation that will actually transform the industry
Um, I think some technical glitch at Dr. Sandhya's end. We'll have to probably wait a couple of seconds to see uh, how this pans out. So, may I request Sandhya ma'am's team to just probably log out and log in once again because there is some technical glitch at your end, probably a little bit of an unstable internet connection. Yes. So, Sandhya ma'am will just take a minute to log in again. So, that's been taken care of. In the meantime, I would really encourage all of you to ask in as many questions as possible. We're waiting for a lot of audience Q&A here as well. So if you're joining us on Hubilo, I'm navigating through the chat box here and I really don't see any questions as of now. But please, guys, feel free to put in your questions. This is a very specific set of panelists that we have put together for you, and they are really industry bigwigs, people who are going to make a mark, people who are making their mark in the industry today, people who are at the cusp of the change, people who are at the leadership positions. So I'm sure you have a lot of questions that are left unanswered and can be answered by our panelists here.
Yeah.
Yes, Sandhya ma'am is back.
So sorry about that. I lost my connectivity with you. Let me just get back.
Yes,
Let me
ma'am.
just share my screen once again.
Ma'am, can you also switch on your video, please?
I'll do that. Just a minute. I was just trying to save bandwidth. These are one of the problems of today's world. Let me get on to that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
very
you,
good.
is it now visible? Is
Yes.
the screen all right?
Yes.
You're able to. So I think I was on the screen, Tanya, before we lost connect. Is that so?
Yeah.
Was I on the screen?
Yes,
On
ma'am.
this particular technical skills? Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So one of the things very interestingly that we had noted is that the technical skills and the professional skills were weighed on par at industry, right? So the ability to problem solve, design, think, attention to detail, critical management of your work, etc., was very, very important. So, but these don't find really great mention or equality in the academic evaluation of one's proficiency. So, what are the changes that have happened of late to actually build the partnership? One of the things is very interestingly, the government and the country at large had launched what is called the Ministry of Skills and Entrepreneurship, clearly articulating that education per se is not hallowed anymore, but needs an interjection of skills as well as entrepreneurship. Because we're looking just not at job seekers, but job creators. So there has been a wonderful systemic ecosystem where it's called the sectors councils, where about 40 sectors having an ability to create 350 million jobs has been put into place. And this is a bridge between the industry and the academic ecosystem. Having said this, I'd just like to once again articulate what the industry has been doing also. The government has done its piece, but the private industry, especially the IT industry, spends around 10,000 crores every year just to upskill and upgrade. They're looking at automating the work, and if you look at our members, 83% of them are automating work. If I look at retraining, what they have done for the last 3 years is about 79% of them have upskilled and retrained themselves. Some of that, almost 78% of our member companies and the IT industry at large hires permanent staff with skills relevant for new technologies. They're also expecting the existing employees to pick up skills of the job. So if I look at the academic requirement now, has academia the capability to offer new technologies as a learning protocol? Will it be able to also provide the necessary skills as a lifelong learning requirement for existing employees? Because the world of automation is going to continue. So there's a lot of thought to be moving in. And the way we teach in our universities and colleges or at our ITIs or at our polytechnics is that we silo information. These new technologies that are spoken of are all integrated. They are cross-functional. Even if it's going to be gem and jewelry or healthcare or automotive or agriculture, you will find these technologies always find note. So we did a little bit of research to say, what is Industry 4.0 going to mean to the retail industry, the banking, financial services, agriculture, healthcare, transportation, manufacturing, telecom? These are all going to be job creators. And we found that every one of them needs the plethora of these technologies. We have already experienced them in our way we are living right now because of the COVID. So there are further research says, what is it that's going to happen? In agriculture to precision agriculture will be the way. Manufacturing, directly 156 million jobs will be available by 2030. So the question goes back is, how is our university system gearing to actually meter and counter this requirement? So I'll just give you a glimpse of what the world of work is going to be like. If I look at manufacturing, where about 41 million jobs are going to be available with the emergence of new technologies, this is the factory of the future. Digital companions, it is what you call digital manufacturing, where all these will come into play. Even the pharmaceutical company will be totally tracked with big data. We will have warehouse, IoT, all will be there in place. Every sort of process when you live through your cell phones and you connect to the rest of the world, either to your tablet or to your device, which is a laptop, you will find that you need to bring in edge computing for enterprises in connecting with you so as to have securities of the platform. So the university structure has to change drastically, and I will show you how, right? If I look at 3D printing, you will find that manufacturers, Schumann, everybody will move out, where in which I will have 3D printing in design engineering, I will have 3D printing of clothes, of human body parts. Everything can be 3D printed to date. Even a fully 3D printing a fully required liver or a kidney is possible. So each one of this is a topic to explore, and is absolutely fascinating to understand the application of it. If I will look at healthcare, general physicians will go away, nanobots will come in, and genomics will play a massive role so that you will actually have the gene plan as well as synthetic biotechnology coming to play. So there's going to be a plethora of new job roles that are going to be there, which needs us to really very quickly regurgitate and refurbish the educational programs in the academic forefront. If I look at the agricultural sector, we are looking at precision agriculture, as I mentioned before. We had in the 19th century the plow, then you have genetically modified foods, and then you will have machinery for GPS tracking. Now, in the present, it is all data insights, right? So here there's a mix of IoT, big data, analytics, and of course, gene splicing and genomics that comes to play. Amazing areas. So I don't have a civil engineer or a chemical engineer rectify. The chemical engineer works in agricultural spaces. He works as genetic modification food scientists, big data analysts, robot designers for actually feeding the globe. So these are top 10 emerging tech, once again reinforcing. But one more area that you need to know before I go into a solution is that the way we are going to work. I've said what is going to be the future of work and what is the nature of work. We used to work in an office, go to a place which is physical. Now that has changed. This industry itself, 90%, 85 to 90% are working from home. And even post the COVID, this will be the new normal. So when you are actually training students, faculty who are going to be delivering to students the skills of the future, they need to understand that the way we work has changed. So we will be looking for is what is called the gig economy or the hustle economy. It's a passion economy, otherwise called. You will work for multiple, there's no loyalty to one individual company or any particular country. You have a competency which you can explore, and your capability in that will actually offer you part-time work or project-based work globally. And therefore, it's anytime, any place, anywhere that you will be able to do things. Therefore, this sort of certification of competency must become an integral part of the academic portfolio. Having said this, what do I need in the education industry? You had teachers, master trainers, professors, lab attendants. I need now coaches, designers, learning camps, simulators, e-labs, right? So we're looking to upskill professionals in a massive way because the new technologies don't end with one-time learning. It's a constant dynamic process. I need the traditional student to learn constantly and to evolve and to understand the applications of these new technologies. So this is what we are saying. Can the university, college, the ITI structures, etc., become what we call in the center educational tech companies? They have to behave like a business. The universities abroad already do so. They have entrepreneurial COEs or startups which are immersed in research, and they will actually have cloud and physical areas that they can work as COEs. They're live online training for ILT and virtual instructor-led training, customized online e-learning aggregator marketplace. You don't have to design all the courses yourself. You can basically have courses that are made globally, the best in the world, but enable it on the university platform so that if you are learning a particular program in civil engineering, and with civil engineering, you want to know how you can actually have materials for 3D printing of a home, which has been done recently by Larsen and Toubro in a particular village in Tirunelveli. So when they do this, basically you see the application, but I can learn the best by sitting in my college in India virtually. So which means there has to be governance and legitimization, empanelment via accreditation. There has to be a credit equivalence. Every course that we offer, if it is aligned to the job standards put forth by the sector councils, which is the bridge between industry and academia, you should be able to, as a university, offer credits and integrate it into your program of learning. Because you have found the traditional way is not fueling the work of the future. So you need to embrace it, but integrate it, which has enough oomph, therefore, to give the impetus for an individual to learn. So you need to have state sponsorship because it's a concurrent subject. We have ministries of MHRD, MSDE, AICT, UGC, all coming together. But having said that, the third phase is global collaboration because the student of the future is a global candidate for work. Is not restricted to any geographies anymore. So market research, startup institutes, need analysis, and performance players must always be the mode of action. So one of the things that we are looking at is how are we going to do this? So recently, the Ministry of Skills and Entrepreneurship, as well as the MHRD, UGC, and AICT, they have contributed what is called the National Educational NEP, yes, the new policy. In that, if you have aligned and if you're offering it through any way, that will be ILT, instructor-led or VILT or totally online, it can be integrated. So making that a viability, what we have done at NASSCOM is we said, let us launch the learning of the future. So we launched what is called Future Skills Prime in collaboration with the Ministry of IT, in acceptance with the MHRD, AICT, UGC, and the Ministry of Skills and Entrepreneurship and DGT. So it is a collaborative scenario where you can go there. It is a free subscription, people. Go there and learn any one of the 10 technologies. And if you enroll, you can get yourself a badge saying that you have been certified. All these are industry programs. All the industry basically said is, there's no time for me and my own. They have to contribute so as to get back from the academic community. So they are contributing extensively, and it's up to us to pick it up. And under the government of India, we are connecting these dots And futureskillsprime.in has been recently published in November. It's available for all. And transforming India's digital talent story, it has been accepted by AICT. You can see the logos up there. It is accepted by the Ministry of IT, MSTE, etc. The status is available, and therefore take advantage. So looking at the new academia and the industry partnership, here is one example, because if I just go back, I gave you three ideas here. Customized online e-learning aggregator. So this is an aggregator marketplace, a marketplace where you can go, and we don't really create the content. Just like Uber doesn't have a taxi, but is the largest taxi company in the world just through technology. Airdep doesn't own a hotel, but is the largest hotel industry in the world as a company. Just like that, this platform will be the future of learning. So this is an industry academia process where there is credit equivalence for every one of the programs, as long as you as a university want to install it. Because as an act of parliament, you can do it. And every one of the aligned programs are NSQF aligned. All the courses don't come as a complete job, but they come as modules on NOSes, technical as well as professional. You can put it together and therefore always be relevant. You can take a NOS, which is a module from Agri. You can take one from IoT, put it together and be relevant to the Agri industry. You can be likewise to the banking industry with AI, big data, etc. To the healthcare by combining IoT, robotic process, AI, big data, and still the medical professional is still there. Everywhere we are using it, but I think it's very critical that the industry academia collaboration is critical. We can always say, oh, it's so difficult to do so, but we can look at it with different lenses. You have to see that it's a half full of opportunities or it is half empty with a lot of challenges. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave myself open to basically question answers, because this is a fascinating space and this is one place where you can be the harbinger of change. Thank you so much, Tanya.